Hey guys, so you might have seen a video we made recently. They were getting the occasional musty smell in the bathroom, and we found that there was no U-bend between this drain and the bath. So the solution that we came up with was just to give it some ventilation under there, because we couldn't get a U-bend under the bath to stop the air flowing back up that pipe. So it sort of worked. The ventilation thing sort of worked and took away most of the mustiness. But just now and again, we'd still get a bit, and it was sort of a bit annoying. So got the Unskilled Plumber to have another look at it and think about it and try to work out a solution. So we were wondering if we couldn't get a U-bend underneath the bath, if it was possible to put a U-bend where the pipe actually comes out into the drain, if that would work. Now, Unskilled plumber, also unskilled hydraulic engineer as well, so weren't quite sure how it would work. Also, there was a problem with the amount of space in there to do it, so I measured it all up and worked out that it was really close. It was really, really close. So that's plumber's glue there, and it's a fast drying one, which is good if you're going to use it, the pipe soon, but it's not good if you make a mistake. You get one go. Pretty much as soon as you put the two pieces together, that's it. You don't get another go. It sort of freezes in place as soon as you put it together. So you've got to be really quick. So it sort of worked out what we wanted. So the idea is try and make a U that stays permanently full of water, which means it's not going to let air back up the pipe. That's the plan. It should have it anyway, but in Japan it's not uncommon not to. So keep in mind, as mentioned in the last video, open drains are quite common in Japan from bathrooms and kitchens. So quite common open drain to run from the house to the street. So with that in mind, not having a U-bend is not an unusual thing either. So if you haven't seen the previous video, check that out. So here's a lot of thinking going on here, right? Thinking and calculations, because once you glue it all together, that's it. So trying to make sure it's going to fit before we put it in. And then the last connection between the pipe and this little U thing, we're not going to glue it. The idea is if something gets stuck in there or for some reason it's not working properly, we need to pull it out, we can. But it's all really close. All the measurements were like within a centimetre. So I was like, well, okay, it's just going to fit. It's just going to fit in there if we make it just right. So lots of thinking, lots of checking, lots of measuring. Is it going to work? Is it going to be all right? And of course, the first part of the U, where it first comes out of the pipe, where the water first comes out, needs to be a little bit higher, doesn't it? So we've got to keep that drop happening as well, so the water doesn't start backing up the pipe. And we want it to flow. There's a lot of thinking going on here. And keep in mind too, this video's been sped up, so the actual contemplating was taking much longer than what you're seeing. Better to think about it. That's one thing that old dudes tend to learn. It's better to think about it a long time first before you do it, so you've got less chance of messing it up. And still weren't convinced it was going to fit, because it was just going to fit, but it didn't allow to actually put it on, if you know what I mean. You'll see what I mean in it. And couldn't check it, because didn't want to put the pipe in the water until it was all ready to go, because once it was wet, we have trouble sticking it together. So watch this. It's a bit hard to see. It's a bit dark, isn't it, from the camera's point of view. So to drop it down and sort of angle it to sort of get it onto that pipe there and then push it on. So I just made it. And so that's the outlet, and that's a little bit lower, a couple of centimetres lower than that bit where the hand is. So that's what we want, isn't it? So still weren't totally convinced it was going to work at this point. So filled the bath up with water. We wanted to test it under pressure to see how it would work. So keep in mind that water is just from the kitchen and from the bath, not from the toilet. So here it goes. Let's empty the bath and see what happens. Here it comes. Yay! So that should work pretty well. And that means that U-bend's filled up. And it has actually been a couple of days since this happened, and since we did this, and there's been zero musty smells in the bathroom. So it does appear to have worked. So the first thing we did with the ventilation did seem to work pretty well. And then this has finished it basically. The combination of that ventilation and this, the end result now is there's no musty smells at all in the bathroom. So happy days. Had a win on this one. So very satisfying, very satisfying. So now none of that air from that drain can go back up that pipe. And that's fixed it. Yay. Put the cover back on. That little pipe you can see there, guys, that's an outlet from the aircon. And in summer, when it's really humid, a lot of water comes out of that, so we can put it in the drain. But usually what we do in summer is we put it into a watering can, recycle the water. Some of you might have seen that in a previous video. Anyway, job done. Happy days. The Unskilled Plumber had a win. More videos coming soon.